Welcome to Love and Healing. We're just gonna jump straight into it, and we'll talk about the effects that everything has had on me, on my life, on the people around me as we go along. Just to put it out there, the person that we will be discussing is still seemingly very close with my friends, which makes it very tricky and very close to home because I still have to almost acknowledge them on a daily basis. But yeah, I mean, let's just go for it. So basically, a few years ago, just before my 16th birthday, I was with this guy, and we had been together for like 8 months, but he kept on being like, oh no, I just can't cuff you, you're just not my hand like that, you know. And I knew something was off, but like I couldn't put my finger on what it was. And I thought, okay, yo, cheeks, like, your mouth, right? Until one day, like, it was the weekend before my 16th, and I was just like, I'm actually over this, like, I'm actually not doing this anymore. And I lost him, and then I found out that he had a girlfriend, and like, obviously I was shattered. Like, that was like my first serious like thing with the person, like 8 months, well, whilst I was conscious and I knew what I was doing. So another one of my friends was having a 16th the day after I found out, and his mom was super liberal, super chill. Like, you could literally do whatever the fuck you wanted in their house, right? So I remember I was like feeling quite flourish, I was feeling quite down, and my mates were like to me, bro, you just need to get out of the house. And I was like, you know what, you're right, I'm gonna go to this party. Went to this party, got raucously drunk. It was the first time I had ever drank seriously. Like, I had tasted alcohol in my life, but like that night I was like, we are going to Pooza. Like, we are within the jaws, right? And yeah, got raucously drunk. I remember saying to my best friend at the time, I was like, listen babes, tonight I'm gonna pull gents, at least one gent, I'm gonna pull a gent, might even walk out of here with a boyfriend. Like, I was just drunk. And I was chilling at this party, literally feeling like I was fucking floating because I'd never been drunk before. And I just remember like this person walking in, like they just walked in with an energy, with a vibe, and I was like, okay. Also because probably they were the only other black male at this party besides Vuyo. So like, I'm lying. But the only other, like, I'm lying. I don't even know, the only person that like I didn't already know that was a black male. So like, I was kind of like, oh, okay, this is glamorous, like, who are you? And like, I have this thing where apparently it's like a thing in general, but I know that night I did it on purpose. I didn't know that I do it subconsciously a lot, where like, if I'm interested in someone's aura, like platonically or romantically, I will do stuff to almost try and interest them for them to come to me. I don't like chasing people, I don't like making the first move, so I'll kind of like intrigue you a bit, and then I'll be like, what? Me? Yeah, like fucking dramatic, right? So I remember like we were grooving, we were dancing there, enjoying. I looked really cute and I was feeling really confident. It was kind of like, it was when my body, how it is now, was starting to form. So like, I was starting to fill out, I was starting to get a bit thick, like it was just lush, and I was just there like, what? And I was also like learning how to do my makeup properly. I was like, what? Like, I was just feeling super cool, right? I remember I was so frustrated because I was like, why the fuck is this gent not noticing me? Like, I'm putting in all this effort out here, trying to make an impression, and nothing. So I lost it, and I carried on like dancing with my mates and whatnot. And then I don't know what song it was that came on, but they wanted to do like that thing with the lights where you like on off the lights. And I was feeling so drunk, it made me feel so dizzy. So I just like literally collapsed on the couch. Like, literally was like, ugh, right? And this guy comes and sits next to me on the couch. He's like, hi, how are you? And I'm like, like, I've been working for this the whole night. So obviously I'm like, no, I'm good, thanks, how are you? And he's like, no, I'm good. And then he's like, would you mind if I kissed you? So I'm like, the fuck, I would not. Like, this is what I came here to do. So obviously I pulled the gent, right? cool, lacquer kiss. And that was the first guy I had kissed after my first kiss, because my first kiss was really awful, right? So I was just like, this is fucking dope. And then I remember like the lights came back on and he was like, okay, I'm going to the bathroom. He lied. And my mate was like looking at me like, what happened? I was like, yo, bro, this kid just pulled me, whatever. She goes, oh my gosh, you lied. And I remember I said, I was like, this guy's gonna be my next boyfriend. I hadn't said 2 words to him. I literally said, sure, when he said, can I kiss you? Like, that was it. And I was like, this guy's gonna be my next boyfriend. Cool. Throughout the night, this gent is like trying to get my attention. He's telling my friends to call me because I'm obviously like playing hard to get, whatever, right? End up like basically spending the night with him, whatever. I go home and my birthday was the next day. And I just remember having the worst insomnia. Like, you know, when you've mixed your alcohols with a whole lot of mixes, different alcohols, it's just a mess. I had the worst insomnia and I couldn't sleep. And so me and this gent were texting because he also couldn't sleep. And we texted like from 11 p.m. until 6 in the morning. And he was like the first one to wish me happy birthday. We had taken pictures at the party, so obviously like he posted on the gram and everyone was like, shit, like who's this gent? Like, because obviously like he had tagged me, so everyone who like loved my tagged post were like, here's this gent. And then everyone who followed him was like, who's this hun? Because like we're both from the north, but like we're in different circles in the north, so we weren't really like overlapping, but we were, if that makes sense. And I just remember I woke up that morning being like, oh, this gent is the most amazing gent, but fuck, he's my friend's ex. And I remember saying to myself, like, I remember when he dumped my mate, I was fucking livid. I was throwing tantrums. I was like on his Instagram spamming him saying you're the worst, right? And then I fucking get with him. But he didn't know who I was when I was like fucking terrorizing him on Instagram. So when he got with me, he was just like, oh, I'm getting with a cute hun type of he thought I was cute. Anyways, and I was just like, yo, this is hectic. And my friend messaged me and she was like, so you and this gent spent the night together, like at the party? And I'm like, and all my mates are like to me, bro. And then I realized that like this gent was now my DP and I didn't even notice, like our photo together was my DP. So everyone was just hitting me up like, what the fuck is going on? She's like, I've never been one to advertise my gents, so they're like, what's going on? And I just remember my friend was like to me, bro, I know you guys so well. Him and I, like our breakup was clean, we're good friends. Like, go for it. I just remember her saying, go for it. And I said, I'd bet. Then I remember one of his ex-girlfriends is someone that I knew who had messed up a previous relationship for me. So I was kind of skeptical because I was like, I know this hun, I know how she moves. I'm not trying to, but he assured me like I had nothing to worry about, like everything was cool. And I just remember like my whole birthday, I wasn't really impressed with my family that day, so I kind of stayed in my room and I spent my whole day like just talking to him and getting to know him. And like the rest of the week continued like that, like we were chatting proper. And I remember like the one morning I was like literally in my Uber. I remember everything in so much detail, guys. I was literally sitting in my Uber. I only sit in one spot in the Uber, is the back left seat. So I was sitting in my Uber, earphones in, listening to like lovey-dovey music on the way to school, texting like this gent. And keep in mind, like every time I had a gent before this, it was like I had to put in a lot of work. And I'm generally someone who really gives a lot of myself when I'm moving with someone romantically. So I had this gent and like I'm not having to put in like masses of effort. He's interested in chatting to me, the banter's good, the kiss was mooi, like everything's just going well. He's taller than me, I find him like super cute, he finds me cute, he finds me funny, like everything was just like lush. Like, those things when you're like, this is way too good to be true, right? And so I just remember him saying to me, so this other girl tried to slide into my DMs last night and I didn't really want to entertain her. And then she was like, oh yeah, I heard that like you and Chicha have been talking. So now apparently like the streets are chatting about the fact that me and this gent are talking. And he's like, I really just don't want to get to know anyone else but you and I really want to talk to you. So like, shall we say, we're vibing exclusively. And I was like, you know what, we've literally spoken so much and I feel like I know you completely. Sure. And cool, things were moving like very, very fast, and it was out there, like I'm off the streets, he's off the streets, we're vibing exclusively. Then I remember like that week ended, and the next week he was going on camp. You know, in high school we still went on camp. And he was like, he had just gotten his molars removed, his wisdoms removed. So he was allowed to take his phone in case like he needed to message his parents or anything, but he was basically going to be on bed rest for the whole of camp because he was on hectic meds. So cool. He texted me like once in a while he was on camp, but like literally when I say once in a while, I mean every 2 days. And I remember like that week was the worst. I have never felt such withdrawal from a person. Like, I don't even know what was going on, but like me not being able to speak to him was like tearing me apart. And I remember I said to my mates, I said, yo guys, I know this is crazy and I know I've known this gent for like 10 days, but like this is a soul tie. Like this thing is strong. And I'm telling you now, by the time this month ends, I'm gonna have fallen in love with this guy. And I remember they laughed at me. Hey, they're like, she's just such a poppy. In a month, you're gonna fall for a gent. And I was like, you know what? If I'm being honest, and this is how I live till today, I don't believe time signifies how quickly you fall in love with someone or how quickly you develop love for someone, especially because I believe in being in love with someone platonically and romantically, because I think it's more about their soul compared to like, oh, I want to date this person. Do you get what I mean? So I was like, that week was just hell. Like, I don't even know how to describe it to anyone. And I just recall like, I was sitting at break at my school. We all used to sit like in a group in the middle of like the quad. We're sitting there and it's like second break and we're like kind of waiting. The last 2 classes that we have for the day aren't really serious because they're going to be handing out roses. Like, it's fucking dumb, right? And I just remember getting a text from him saying, hey, and my whole mood changed. And it was like, what? I remember like my friends had celebrated my birthday throughout the week. So on that day when he messaged me saying hey and he was coming home, I was ecstatic. My whole mood changed, I was bubbly, and my birthday party was the next day, right? So, you know, midterm break, we had, like my birthday party was over midterm break. And he was obviously gonna come to my party and whatnot. And he had come home. Like, I was so excited. I was like, oh my gosh, I can finally talk to him again. I remember that night, like, we had the longest phone call. Not the longest, we've had longer, but like, for me, it was like, this phone call is so in-depth, it's so great, like, it's so proper, right? And I was just so, like, infatuated with this human being. Like, I literally couldn't fathom how this was me and how I had gotten so lucky to, like, be experiencing this person with this consuming aura and this great personality, and they were, like, reciprocating my energy. Like, that was such a foreign concept to me. And I remember the next day, like, we texted the whole day. We were literally so excited. And he asked me, he was like, do you think it would be okay if I come early? Like, I miss you so much, I just want to see you. And I was like to my best friend, like, yo, bro, I don't know what to do. Like, I just recently told my mom that, like, listen, I'm talking to this gent and it's moving really fast. And I want him to be able to come over and stuff, so I'm telling you about it. And she wasn't talking to me because of it. I think it was like first boyfriend she knew about type of vibe. She was like, not in my house type of thing. And I was just confused, and my mate was like, bro, YOLO, like, it's your fucking 16th. What is she gonna do if he gets here early? She can't throw a tantrum, it's the day of your party. And I remember he came to my house and he brought me McDonald's, because I'd been speaking about how I'd been craving takeaways, and my mom wasn't willing to, like, buy me Uber Eats because, like, just cooking the food for the party. So she was like, just eat what's here. And he bought me, like, my favorite meal from McDonald's, which was so lush, and, like, even the way he did it was so cute. Like, when I say people pay attention to detail, he messaged my best friend, and my male best friend found out, like, what my favorite meal was. And I just didn't expect it, if that makes sense. And he came And he walks into my house, the arrogant shit. He walks into my house, walks into the kitchen, and my whole family's there. My aunt, my sister, my mom, whoever, and my aunt, like my other aunt, Auntie Florence, like my whole family's there. And he goes up to my mom and he goes, I'm like, keep in mind, I'm in my bedroom, so I'm hearing the whole thing. He goes, "Hi, I'm Chicha's boyfriend, nice to meet you." Keep in mind, he hasn't asked me to be his girlfriend. So I'm like, you know what, he probably doesn't want to explain the concept of vibing to her, even though I've already explained it, like it's cool, right? Cool. We're all chilling in my room, like me, him, my mate, her boyfriend, and another one of my mates. And then I need to obviously go get ready for my party, and my mate's gonna do my makeup and everything. So all the boys go to the one side of the house and we're like getting ready, and the theme was like pajamas. And so I'm wearing like my onesie and my crop top, and I look super cute. If I have a photo, I'll like insert it. And I went up to him to obviously like be hi, like we can all go chill upstairs, like just wait for people to arrive. And he, like the way he looked at me, I literally melted, and he was like, you look so beautiful. Like, guys, I've never had someone make me feel like I'm so desirable in my life. Like, I just remember I felt so valid, I felt so wanted, I felt so appreciated. I was like, no wonder everyone's always fucking in relationships. Like, of course, like if this is what it is, obviously you're gonna want a boyfriend, right? And I remember we went upstairs, cool, we're chatting, and then he like made a signal to my mate's boyfriend, and my mate's boyfriend was like, hey babe, let's vibe, right? So I'm like chilling there, we're chatting, and then he's like to me, yo, like, will you please do me the honor of allowing me to be your boyfriend? And it's like, even the way he asked was like, he sees me as being honorable, like not the other way around. Like, he sees being my boyfriend as an honor. Like, this thing was just grand. And I was like, of course. Like, I actually didn't believe him. I asked him like 3 times. I was like, are you serious? Are you pranking me? And he was like, bro, stop being weird about it. Like, I genuinely want you to be my husband. And I just remember like, we were like, cool. And I told my best friend and her boyfriend. And then people started arriving at the party. And so like, it's really hard in that situation because like, I just got in a boyfriend. But at the same time, like I was hosting people in my house and I couldn't like completely abandon the party. And then I remember I went downstairs and I came back upstairs where the party was, and everyone was just like, Cheech, what the fuck, you have a boyfriend? I'm like, how the fuck does anyone know? And then they were like, no, when he introduces himself, he goes, hi, I'm Cheech's boyfriend. And I was just like, what? Like, he's literally confident enough to go up to all my friends and be like, that's my hand. Like, yo, no, I felt moi, right? And I just remember that night was like, it was so much fun, and the time I spent with him was the best, and we took the cutest photos, and like, he looked at me like I was his world. Like, I don't even know how to describe it to you guys. Like, I felt like the rarest entity ever. And I remember when he had to leave, he was like, will you come outside and meet my dad? And like, I'm very finicky about meeting parents, and so I'm literally shaking because like this thing is anxiety provoking. But he was like, no, it's really important for you to like meet my dad. And no girl had ever met his dad before. He usually just goes to his mom. So he takes me outside, and then like obviously I greet his dad. I'm like, hi, how are you? Introduce myself and everything. And then he looks at her, like he looks at him. So his dad looks at him and goes, is this her? And he's like, yeah. And then his dad is like, no wonder you were so like eager to date her. She looks like a gem. And I was like, wait, what? So this gent has been talking to his dad about me, and his dad basically was like, bruh, go for the kill. What are you gonna do? It's like, what? This is insane to me. Next morning I was like, shit, like I have a boyfriend. And I remember like we had like the longest phone calls because it was very important to us to like have a like solid friendship and to really get to know each other. and we were having like 5-hour phone calls, like every single, I'm exaggerating, we were having like 3-hour phone calls every night. And I was staying up until like early, like during midterm. And I remember like the one day I was lying on the couch and I didn't know when I was gonna see him again, because like after midterm, like school was gonna get quite hectic and my mom wasn't really keen about me having a boyfriend, so it was gonna be tricky, and we went to different schools and it was just a lot. And I was like to him, like, listen, you know I hate to be the person to say this over the phone, and I hate to be the person to say this first, but like honestly, I'm like falling in love with you like quickly, and it's fucking scary, but like I need you to know, because how I act is going to like start changing and I don't want it to put you off. And he was like to me, honestly, like you don't even understand how happy it is, like how happy it makes me to hear that, because I've literally been falling for you from like the week we started talking. And I was just like, what? Like, you guys don't understand. It might sound so stupid, but like when your soul just connects with another soul, like time literally means nothing, if that makes sense. And I never thought I'd experience that so young, like at 16. Like what was I doing? I was supposed to be within my fucking books, like playing netball and living my life. Like I had just chosen my fucking subjects, but it was just like this intense thing that like we had with each other, and we just understood each other, we just got each other. Like we didn't have to talk about things for us to know and to understand. It was such a pure thing, and like that's something I've been praying for since like I started praying for my futures, that like when I do meet a person, and again it's like, shit, you're only 16, what you're doing, but my parents got divorced when I was really young, so that's something I've always prayed for from like the jump. Like, you know, when you're there, you're like, God, I know I'm not gonna date for another 5 years, but when those 5 years are finished, like, please can I have a person that's like what, right? And I'd also just never met a person that resembled my dad so well, but only the good characteristics of my dad. And you know, they're like, you go for a person who resembles your parent of the opposite gender. So like everything was just on par. And the relationship was great, and we understood each other. We literally didn't have any arguments. Like it was lacquer, right, for a few weeks. And then that ex-girlfriend that I mentioned, the one that was a problem, right? Basically, she sent a VN out to my friends from my old school, because we used to go to the same school. Basically saying like I had stolen her boyfriend, and her boyfriend were extremely upset about it, and I was like ruining their relationship, and I was just being the worst, right? I remember I sent him the voice note. I was like, bro, like she's literally going and breaking my friendships. People are literally like, why are you like fighting with a girl younger than you for a gent? Like if it was her gent first, lost it. Like people think I'm like a relationship breaker, and I'm extremely against cheating. It's something that broke up my family and broke up families that were very close to me and of people that are very close to me. So it's just something that I'm not for. So it really broke me, and it hurt me when people thought like, oh my gosh, she's just breaking up a relationship, because I so strongly advocate against it. I remember they had like a massive falling out about it. And he was like to me, Cheech, like I'm willing to do whatever I need to do to make you trust me, and to make you like understand that you are what I want. And so like I was like, sure, like obviously I believe you, like you know. And his actions were just so affirmative that I was like, you know, cool. Like I had access to all his socials if I wanted to check who he was talking to, and all those things. He was very open about his life, and I was like allowed to be mates with his mates and all those things. And like I never actually went and like stalked and like who's in your DMs and whatnot, yes, but it was just the fact that someone's willing to give you the accessibility is like a huge thing, or at least it was a huge thing to me. And so I just remember like things were fine for a few days, and then I was supposed to go out with him and his mom, and I was supposed to meet them at the farmer's market, and it was like his mom's favorite place. And I just remember waking up on the Sunday and I had arranged for some of my friends to be there just in case they didn't pitch, because I hate getting to a place and then the person doesn't pitch and then I look like a fool. So my friends were going to be there anyways, and I call them and I'm like, yo babe, like what time am I meeting your mom? Did you see like the pictures I sent you of outfits, like which one's the most appropriate? And he basically dumped me and he blamed it on his mental health. And he was just like, no, his mental health is in the worst state and he can't like sustain a relationship, and it's not a me thing, it's a him thing and whatnot, yes. And like thinking back on that now, that really pisses me off, because like mental health is such a deep thing to me, and especially being a black person, like I know in the black community mental health is not something you can speak about, and he hadn't opened up about his mental health. Like cool, I knew like he had his up days and his down days, and I knew like about some of his mental conditions, but he hadn't like opened up about it. Like I think I knew about one or two, and there were more learning disabilities, but like he's still one of the smartest people I know, and they didn't like change the way I saw him, and they didn't impact his intelligence as a person. So there were never anything that was like a deep thing between us, and just using mental illness as a way to keep someone captive and as a way to manipulate someone is just so fucked up in so many different ways. Like, as someone who suffers from my own range of mental illnesses, I obviously am not going to leave someone or blame someone when things go wrong because of their mental illnesses, because I know what it's like and I know how it goes. But I just remember like I felt so invalidated for the first time in like 6 weeks, because I was like, what? Like I wasn't enough to let him know that his mental illnesses are not him and that he can overcome them. And I was like, shit, like as a girlfriend it's my job to like be there for him and to let him know that like he's enough and like we're gonna go through this together and he'll be fine. And I just felt so useless, and I was like, what the fuck? Like, I'm someone who never wants other people to struggle, so I'm always making sure I can pick up the pieces for other people. And I was like, I couldn't even do it for my own boyfriend. Like, of course he wants to dump me. And I remember I went out to the farmer's market anyways, but it was such a sad day for me. Like literally, I think I smiled like 3 times in that day, and I caught 2 of them like on camera. And even my mates were like, bro, you're literally not even smiling. I was wearing shades the whole day because I was like crying. Any cute thing or any couple that I saw, like I cried. And it was like, yeah, cool, we had only been dating for like a month, or we had been talking for 6 weeks, but like the connection between our souls was so intense that like I couldn't fathom the fact that I had lost this thing and that I had fucked up because I hadn't supported him and I hadn't been enough and I hadn't understood enough and I hadn't asked more questions. And you know, like those were thoughts that ran through my mind for a while. And I remember like the week after he broke up with me, I obviously had school, and it was the hardest week. Like I would sit in class on the verge of tears. I wasn't eating properly, I wasn't sleeping. And him and I still spoke that week, but it wasn't like anything in depth. It was very like teetering on the edge of, we said we're gonna be mates and we're gonna be cool, so like let's not make it awkward, we're still gonna speak. And yeah, that's just like a very brief context to basically how I met this person, how everything between me and this person started, and then how our official relationship ended. But that is just the tip of the iceberg. That is not even a fragment of anything, right? For me, I think I'm a little bit disappointed in myself that wasn't a red flag for me, the way everything happened, that I didn't see that as emotional manipulation. And obviously, because you guys don't know the rest of the story, you might be like, Cheech, listen, maybe he just was in a shit place. But as we go along, you'll understand why I say that was the first red flag that I just completely missed, and that I've only come to terms with recently. But yeah, thank you guys for watching. I hope you enjoyed this. If anyone relates, or if anyone's going through something similar and they want to chat, please just chat out in the comments or send me a DM, and I'm always here to lend an ear. If you have my number, send me a message. But yeah, like, subscribe and comment, turn your notifications on, and I will catch you guys